Good day! I am Angel Rose T. Perez, taking up Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Filipino. Today, I am going to discuss Chapter 3, which is entitled Portfolios, Paper and Digital. Under this chapter, I am going to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of portfolio. Without further ado, let's get started. Before anything else, let us first define what is a portfolio. Portfolio is a purposeful, systematic process of collecting and evaluating student formative and/or summative assessment to document progress towards the attainment of learning targets. This is limited and meaningful collections of work. Now that we are done defining the word portfolio, let us now focus our attention on the advantages and disadvantages of portfolio. But first, let us tackle the advantages. First advantage, it promotes student self-assessment, meaning it combines the strength of performance assessment with a continuous record of achievement. Second, it engages students in self-evaluation and reflection that can lead to goal setting, encourage, and support critical thinking. Critical thinking skills allows us to understand and address all of the situations based on available facts and information. The third one is, it promotes collaborative assessment, wherein pairs or small group of students are being divided in the class in order to work together to promote teamwork. They will formulate discussion, and by this, they could benefit from the knowledge of their peers. The fourth one is, it enhances student motivation. Students will see to it that their work on their portfolio is an act of achievement, and thus this will motivate them to learn more. The fifth one is, it focuses on improvement and not on comparison, meaning you as a teacher should not compare each one of your students because you already know that they have different capacities and abilities. They are unique on their own way. The sixth one is, it focuses on the student's strengths or the things that they can do, the things that they might be able to do. The seventh one is, it provides evidences of learning for diagnosing learning difficulties, providing individual feedback, and explaining progress to parents. The last advantage of portfolio focuses on the flexibility and adaptability, wherein students can find new materials or resources within their environment to make their portfolio attractive, creative, and meaningful as well. The first disadvantage of portfolio is that scoring difficulties may lead to low reliability, meaning to make a rubric is not easy. To make a criteria is not easy. It is very time consuming, and thus the scoring for different perspective of teachers or any judges is not consistent. The second disadvantage is teacher training needed. In scoring a portfolio, teachers need to be trained enough on how to use the different kinds of criteria or rubrics because of the fact that scoring portfolio is very subjective. The third disadvantage of portfolio is that students may not be able to make good selections of which materials to include in their portfolio. The outcome or result if they do not make good selections of which materials to use is not good. Their portfolio will not be attractive and meaningful as well. The fourth one is, it needs time and resources. In making a portfolio, you need to have lots of materials and designs in order to make your portfolio attractive, as well as an ample of time in order to finish it completely. The fifth one is, sampling of student portfolios may lead to weak generalization. And lastly, parents may find portfolio difficult to understand. Now that we are done on the discussion part, let us now take our focus on the specific examples of advantages and disadvantages of portfolio. First advantage is that it promotes student self-assessment. For example, Jake is making a portfolio in his Ed 304 class. Upon the process of making the portfolio, we can say that Jake is learning in many ways. By the time that he will check and look all over his portfolio, he is now already engaging in self-assessment. And thus, he could already assess his portfolio in terms of the design and the content. And a specific example of this advantage of portfolio is that scoring is not consistent and subjective. For example, there are those teachers who focus their attention and grading on the design and attractiveness of portfolio. But on the other hand, there are those teachers who focus their attention on the content of the portfolio because they believe that the content is the most important part of the portfolio. In this sense, scoring is not consistent. That would be all for Chapter 3 that focuses on the advantages and disadvantages of portfolio. I hope you have learned something today. This has been Angel Rose T. Perez. Thank you for watching. Goodbye!